Now this is a story all about how my life got twisted upside down, and I like to take a minute just to sit right there. Now that's it. The rest doesn't relate. Guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, Jessie Wessie, and today I am going to be bringing you my homecoming horror story. I went to a total of 2 homecomings last year, so I'm gonna start at my schools and work my way. Stuff going on leading up until homecoming. Now, I didn't make it to all of them because I just feel like that was too much going on, but the one that I did go to was like the carnival thing that ended off with them doing this really dramatic like burning of like I gotta put the video here so that y'all can see, but it's like a burning of the other teams, symbolic of like da da da, like they're gonna lose. So it was a whole bunch of hype up all the way up, like leading up until the game. And like I said, like our school takes our sports very seriously. So there was everything and the third going on. Now we're watching it and it's a good game. It's a close game. And then we lost. Way back home, it was homecoming night, mad parties going on, you know, about to take our pre-party nap. Well, the way that the party was essentially set up, they were doing rounds of buses. A bus again from south to north, and we were waiting there. We were waiting there for maybe half an hour. Now, in our heads, we're just kind of like, okay, like maybe they're just running late. Even though we lost, we're all in the homecoming spirits because it's our first year. So we're getting lit in the parking lot. We're dancing, laughing, talking. Car pulls up and a girl gets out of the car. The buses have been canceled. Now we're all looking at her like, what does she mean the buses have been canceled? And before she even like gives any further details, she was like, I'm not gonna hold you. Y'all better start ordering y'all Ubers now. Like gets back in the car and people were trying to like jump in the car like with her, trying to get in the trunk or whatever because she was going to the party, you know, regardless. Like, all right, we about to get a ride with her. Okay. Now, for whoever, I guess, made their way into her car, I guess that's how they got there. The rest of us were kind of just standing there looking, you know, whatever. So at the time, we were like, okay, let's just take the Uber. Let's get the XL. So it's 6 of us, you know, and let's head over to the party because, like, okay, it's homecoming night. We don't want to be home. We type in the address to the party and it starts to fluctuate. Now, just in general, on I feel like a good night, nobody's going anywhere, anything like that, you're probably gonna pay about $17 to $20 for an Uber in Buffalo. Those Ubers were racking up to 40 and 50. My roommate and I and one of our other friends was basically like looking at each other like, we're not about to spend $40 on an Uber right now. Let's go home, see if we can wait it out. So that was our plan. So I was kind of just sitting there looking like, I don't think so. After I get home, I just feel like I'm not gonna want to come back out and party. Decided that we weren't gonna go to the party and we were going to stay inside and instead have a movie night. Now, we're gonna see the movie night right here. Even though we're in there, we're watching a scary movie and we're weak, you know, having a good. I had a fire alarm go off in the middle of our movie. So I can understand how distraught I was. Barely dressed. It was freezing outside and I was so sick, as I was with every fire drill, but just specifically for that night, I was annoyed. I was like, oh no. And literally, like, we're staying up the whole night because some of our friends did end up going to. Everybody has homecoming horror stories from that night, whether they waited outside in the cold on a really long line because they couldn't get in, or they paid up to $250. What? Come on now. Come on. Though my homecoming flopped like from top to bottom, in the back of my head, I was like, you know, it's okay, whatever the case may be. I'm going to Howard next week. Now, both of my best friends, my boy best friend Malcolm and my girl best friend Jade, go to Howard. So I was like, you know, we about to go to a real homecoming, you know, HBCU style on October 12th. First things first, I got off the plane. I'm texting Jade and she's not answering. I'm texting Malcolm and he's not answering. Not me not knowing where to go and about to get stuck. Now luckily, like, they answered. Down to Howard and Kanye is fully doing his Sunday service on a Saturday. Sunday service nonetheless. And I was at Howard for like a minute, so I was astonished. I was like, ah! And I'm like, okay, you know, we off to a good start. We're basically outside and we're watching, you know, the Sunday service. So we get to maybe the end of the Sunday service and Kanye starts chatting. And I'm gonna let y'all hear for yourselves.
And on TV, on the so you ain't always gotta agree with me, but I tell you what.
Kanye said, the next time they're throwing slave nets, let's not all stand in the same place. And Jade and I were looking at each other like, no, he didn't. Some people might call this a rant. Yeah, I think this is a rant. Everybody in the crowd was like, no.
Anything to diminish. First of all.
But I was like, I guess. When can I ever say again that I saw Kanye do his Sunday service? I was like, all right, whatever. We get back to Jade's dorm. It's quiet. I can't even tell you what happened between the walk to her dorm and when I woke back up. I slept so good. I slept the sheets off that girl's bed. I was so tired. Like, so tired. To this day, we still talk about like the sheets off of your bed, girl. That kind of sleep. On our way to the game, this line is mad long. Howard. Nah. Crazy serious happened there. We actually little to know where to sit, but we ended up finding a seat. So that was cute. That was cool. Whatever. Again, another, I guess, football disappointment because we actually lost that game too. But since it was my first HBCU homecoming, I wasn't mad at it. I was more there for like the dancing, you know, and that was cute. I really enjoyed that. I think that was my favorite. I feel like after the game, we went to the tailgate. And I don't know why the tailgate wasn't as significant like in my head. I don't know. I think there was a lot of people there. There were too many people there for me to actually like be enjoying myself. And like we were working our way like up and through the crowd trying to like find the areas like where we could stand and like, you know, vibe out and stuff like that. That really wasn't working out for us. So we ended up, to my knowledge, we ended up leaving the tailgate and going to Chipotle. And I hope that's the story because that weekend for fake is a blur. For fake. Yeah, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Get our food, and then we're walking down like the streets back to the dorm or whatever, and we see some black owned businesses. So of course we're like, all right, like, you know, let's see what they got or whatever. I ended up getting these really cute shorts. I got these cute little shorts there. We bought some stuff. We had ourselves like, you know, little black girl magic photo shoot. Like was hitting at that time, so we was taking it all in for what it was. Head back now to Jade's dorm, and essentially we just kind of ran into we don't know where to go for the party that night type thing, and that was a lot of back and forth. I don't even know where we ended up. Before we went to the party, we went to Malcolm's crib. From his crib, we went to some function, something like that. And I feel like we might have went to like 2 or 3 functions because obviously like it's homecoming night. I feel like once one spot gets too hot, you know, we gotta move on to the other. And I feel like the first maybe 2 flopped. Again, I might be lying. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure like we ended up finally at one spot. We didn't just like, you know, go straight there. I feel like was something happened, and then we ended up at the party. We was in that party stuck though. I'm not even gonna say too much there. If you know, you know. All the fun and games is done. It's time for me to go to sleep so I can get on my flight the next morning. Let me tell you. Let's talk about the flight. Getting ready to head to the airport. I go on the Uber app to order my Uber. There are no Ubers available. I asked Malcolm to get me a lift. There are no lifts available. All right, so now I'm like, what's next? So we ended up calling a taxi, and I'm sitting there waiting for the taxi for mad long. So now I'm getting tight because the taxi's taking mad long, and I just know at this point that even if I did make it to the airport on time, where I had to go to get on the flight to Buffalo was a troop. I don't like the pre-stress. I don't like the pre-stress of like getting on flights. I like to get there with enough time so that I don't have to rush to like, you know, go through baggage claim, take off my shoes, this, that, and the third, whatever the case may be. I be getting hot and I be getting out of breath. I like to have more than enough time to do that and have time to sit down after. Like,
hello?
You remember how I missed my flight?
I said, yeah, I do. That was so crazy because I didn't see it till like after it was all resolved.
No, understand. I'm in the taxi. We're in traffic. And I'm like, we're not going to make it, this, that, and the third. Taxi man is like, yes, like I'm driving. We going to get there. Da, da, da. I was so upset. And the man was like, what happened, this, that, and the third, whatever. And I wasn't even sure if I was supposed to lie or not, because I know they say, like, if it's your fault, you have to pay for it. And I was like, there were no Ubers or whatever, like, to the airport. Finally got in one that just got through baggage claim. And then he goes, there's not another flight going to Buffalo until 10 p.m. And that's at, like, what, 7 o'clock? 7:30? I was like, not me sitting here for another 12, 13, 14 hours. Dag. And then he finally was like, da da da. There's a connecting flight. Where he told me I had to go. I don't know. Where did I go? Philly. I had to go to Philly to come back to Buffalo. And I think he said that it was in another maybe hour. I feel like I waited for about an hour to get on the flight, which wasn't horrible. In to get on the flight at 10 p.m. Got on the connecting flight, had a layover, came back to Buffalo. I came back to Buffalo, I was exhausted, absolutely exhausted. Mind you, my little fast self decided I was gonna leave all of my homework at home. I didn't bring one book. And I had homework due. I'm a little scatterbrained, but those are pretty much all the details to both of my homecoming experience. So I didn't have an overall terrible time, but y'all see how many L's I took within those 2 weeks. Just L's back to back to back to back to back. Now, with all of that being said, that's it and that's all. That is the end. And I hope y'all enjoyed. Now, before you leave me, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and join the family. I promise you will love it here. Also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and comment down below and let me know if you guys want to hear any more story times. I don't know, sitting in front of the camera is kind of awkward, but if y'all want to see it, I'll do it. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!